Hey everyone, it's Captain Chesley, and this video is about speed tanking. So speed tanking is a term for when you fit your ship to be faster than the enemy can track you with its guns. Any ship can technically speed tank, but some ships do it extremely well. In order to understand how speed tanking works, you first need to understand how weapon tracking works. So a turret uses a value called tracking speed in order to determine how easy it is to hit a moving target. If the target is slower than the target tracking speed, then the turret can hit it, subject to other variables like range. A large weapon with a tracking speed of 5 is going to have a very hard time hitting a ship that is orbiting close and fast. This is how a small ship like an interceptor can stay alive when fighting a large ship like a battlecruiser, because the battlecruiser's weapons are too slow to hit it. But the same interceptor would have a much harder time fighting a destroyer because the destroyer has the faster tracking speed. So please note that although I'm talking about turret weapons, the same rules apply to missiles, but with explosion velocity replacing the tracking speed. So to take advantage of speed tanking, you need to first equip a fast ship. The ship I'm going to use is a Condor II, which is a basic interceptor. The Condor has bonuses to afterburner velocity, which should give you a hint of why we're using this as a speed tank. With decent skills, you can easily hit a speed of over 2,000 meters per second. So let's go and try it out. First, you need to set your orbit radius. This is important because you want to get maximum speed, and sometimes orbiting at 0 kilometers will make your speed drop. Now that we are set up, it's time to try it out. I'm going to speed tank an anomaly of Tier 7 to show how powerful the strategy can be. Now I use a Leroy Jenkins strategy, and I'm going to warp to 0. You can also warp further out, but careful to hit max speed as soon as you can. Now when I warp in, I'm immediately going to focus fire on the smallest ships, because they are the ones that have the biggest danger to me. Once they are dead, the larger ships are easy prey. Now, there is an important difference between missiles and turrets. Missile explosion's velocity is calculated against your absolute velocity. But turrets use lateral velocity, which means that your velocity going towards or against the turret subtracts from the speed used in tracking speed calculations. The difference is here for turrets, a speed tank needs to fly at an angle towards the target, whereas the missile ships let you fly straight towards the target. If you fly towards a turret ship, even at max speed, you will still get hit. So to share a few more things on speed tanking, because he's a little more advanced than me, is Commander Hank. Commander Hank, take it away.
Alright, so at first, micro warp drives seem like they're a really good option. They give you 500% speed bonus over a regular afterburner. But before you put one on, there are some important things that you need to know about the differences between the two. So the micro warp drive, when you equip it onto your ship, the first thing immediately that it does is it will take away a quarter of your capacitor. It takes it away from your max capacitor. It's reserved for the micro warp drive. So that can cause some problems if your capacitor is not really stable. In addition to the fact that the micro warp drives in general use more capacitor than an afterburner. But the other thing that you need to be aware of is that when you click on the micro warp drive, it increases your ship's signature radius by about 500%. So what that means is that this frigate that I'm flying right now, if I turned a micro warp drive on, my ship would be as big of a target as a battleship, maybe even bigger. Just because of that bonus. So basically, it makes you a really big target. It makes it easier for the guns to track you, and sometimes if you don't have a special ship like an interceptor that has reduced signature radius, that can be very deadly for you. So you got to be aware of that. Afterburners are the other propulsion mod. They provide speed bonuses that are a quarter that of a micro warp drive of the same size, but the advantage that they have is that they don't increase signature radius, meaning that it does not make your ship any easier to hit. They provide speed without the drawback of a micro warp drive. This ship is using a small afterburner, but in some ships you can put oversized afterburners. For example, a battlecruiser could use a large afterburner with the right skills. This lets you get very fast speeds, but the trade-off is that oversized modules add significant mass to your ship. Mass affects the handling and agility of your ship. So a ship using this setup will have a max speed that is very fast and doesn't increase your signature radius, but the trade-off is that it turns like a semi. If you are hit by an enemy that has a warp scrambler, your micro warp drive will shut down. So that means 0 speed bonus after you're hit by a scrambler. So if you're relying on speed like an interceptor, that's something that you definitely need to be aware of, because all of your survivability comes from your speed. And sometimes that speed can be taken away if you're hit by a warp scrambler.
Thanks for Commander Hank explaining that, and lead into my intro. Thank you, Commander Hank, for helping us understanding a bit more about speed tanking. Now everyone go out, try it, have fun, fly safe. Bam!
Wasn't recording.
What?
Oh, I guess it was. Okay.